Coaches, today I'm here with Coach Bones from Spring Hill, Florida. Listen in as this 22-year-old innovative coach talks about how he turned around a losing programs, set records for wins in nearly every offensive category, running our favorite offense, air raid. So settle up and noose as we start it all right now. So if you find these videos helpful, please do hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any new updates, and like and comment below. Really helps us out. Hey coaches, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us for another episode of Middle School Air Raid. My name is Coach Lasker. As you guys have known, we're trying to continue on this series. We appreciate you consuming all the flight school videos about how to run the air raid at the middle school level. We're compiling on that now, trying to bring in coaches that have run it successfully at the middle school level, whether they're new to it or have done it for years. We want to just bring you guys more middle school coaches that have run it, have had success with it, and more importantly, want to just make you guys feel comfortable with the fact that coaches out there around this country are doing it. And then, hopefully we'll get into some plays. So today we're with Coach Brendan Boniol from Spring Hill, Florida. Coach, I hope I didn't butcher your name too much on that one.
No, you're all good.
Awesome. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Good. So I'll let you introduce yourself, but for those of you tuning in, Brendan is the head coach and offensive coordinator at Cruz Lake Middle School in Spring Hill, Florida. And so I've asked him to come on and kind of talk a little bit about his air raid journey, and then some plays that he has used to execute in recent seasons to really put his team in the best situations to succeed. But first, let me just give you the floor a little bit, Brendan. Why don't you just introduce yourself and let everyone know just about you and what you guys are up to.
All right. So once again, my name's Brendan Boniol. I go by Coach Bones. That's what the kids call me. I'm going on to my 5th year of coaching. It's my 3rd year as head coach of Cruz Lake Middle. And I was hired as head coach at the age of 20. And to my knowledge, that's the youngest that a head coach has ever been in Pasco County, Florida. So that was pretty cool to be hired at that age. I'm still in college. I will be graduating next spring with my bachelor's in sports business and looking to continue my coaching career, hopefully at a college level or, who knows.
No, that's great, man. That's really cool that you're relatively young in general, but you're already, coaching, giving back to the kids. I'm assuming you don't have any middle school age kids yourself, right?
No, I do not.
Right. And so, no, I mean, we just love hearing that. I mean, people coaching for the right reasons, love of the game, and then obviously to work with these kids. So thank you for jumping in there. I admittedly started coaching again because I had kids in youth football, and it kind of spurred a fire into me to get into this. How about a little bit about your playing background? Did you mention to me you played in junior high and high school as well?
Yeah, so I played in middle school and high school, and we never really got into a full spread offense. We were always, wishbone, I formation, double tights, all of that. So nothing that I've really, that I've carried over to Cruz Lake. I tried it out my first year because that's what I knew. It's what I was comfortable with, and it didn't work. In all honesty, we didn't win a game. We didn't have 4 touchdowns, which was double the amount of the previous year. But this year we went full spread offense. We set the school record of 6 wins, 2 losses. Set the school record 222 points within 8 games. School record 3 separate times throughout the season. We scored 40 points twice and then 42 points in the last game of the season. So that was a lot of points getting on that scoreboard. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear. And so, I do want to get into what all those cool stats, because I I love it too. I get a lot of grief from my friends out here because I go into huddle and I, put all the stats in huddle and all the formations and break it down by play and create cut ups. And I just love it. And it sounds like you just kind of love that part of the game as well.
Yeah.
But at this middle school level, it's not that common. So that's really cool that you do that and you're able to again, show, and prove it to people, because I think a lot of this, unfortunately, we're kind of left, us coaches that want to coach spread type of football at this level, we're kind of in a position where we're having to defend it, right? And like we have to prove it every time we talk to a guy that's like, oh, why would you do that? They can't do that. We're like, no, we can do it. But now we have not only, I made sure we captured video. Not all middle school can put money behind video, but you have it, stats wise, you could print something out and say, hey, here's what our offense looked like. So I do want to get into that and show everybody how you guys were doing what you did to be successful. But real quickly, I just kind of want to hear about your journey to the air raid or spread in general. Our goal is to just let coaches know that they can run the spread at this level. If it's air raid, great. I'm a big believer in it. But even if it's a different type of spread, we just want to spread the ball around and get more kids involved. So yeah, can you talk a little bit about like your journey to find the spread, or how that came about to where you guys went from, an IBAC team to a spread team?
All right. Yeah. So when I first started, as soon as the last season ended, we went 0-8. We weren't that effective or anything. I wanted to learn how we could improve. And that kind of led me to just looking up a lot of different formations and like plays on myself. And that led me to Coach Mackey. Coach Mackey helped me out a lot. I watched so many of his YouTube videos, probably every single one, multiple times. But
Thanks.
so, yeah, he helped me out a lot. And I also attended a few of the Glacier clinics here that came down to Florida. I attended last year's Tampa clinic, and I attended this year's Orlando and Tampa clinic again. And it's just been very helpful for me as a coach. I was able to grow, learn a lot of new plays, meet new people, and it's just a great opportunity that I had. So that's that.
Good. So, and that's another huge point, man, is, it was the same thing as when I wanted to start looking into the spread and try to find a way to get more kids involved. And for me, it was more about participation numbers. Like if only one or two people are touching the ball and we're just running power left and power right, or wildcat left and wildcat right, I think that's as much, maybe not as much to blame as concussions of why kids aren't coming out, but I think it's a big part. People they can choose to play baseball, a sport that they get to be active in, or basketball, there's something that they get to touch the ball in. So, that's kind of where my journey started. So it sounds like it's somewhere where you wanted to learn how to kind of spread the ball around. So that's great. And, to your point, the Glacier clinics, Coach Mackey has so much content out there. There's other guys that have, Coach Joe Salas is somebody that I love to death. His videos, Patrick Taylor, the 92 Mesh Group, some of those things are paid, you have to pay, but a lot of them, the majority of the content's free. So there is plenty of resources out there online, coaches. If you just, want to dig into it to learn this stuff. So, we definitely need to take the time to learn it so we can spread the love to our kids, and in turn, hopefully, get more kids excited about coming out, playing this style of football on a tackle field, not just on 7-on-7. We're just putting pads on. It's not that much of a difference, right? So very cool. There's so many great resources, and it sounds like we've found a lot of the same ones. So very cool. All right, awesome. So let's fast forward to this time last year. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, we're going to go full spread.
Yeah.
Time to do it. We're going to go all in. You were head coach at that point, so it wasn't like you had to ask anybody. Right. But like, what was that? Did you have any coaches on your staff that were like, what's wrong with the eye? What's wrong with, whatever it is that you guys are doing? What was that like, trying to have to talk to people about it that maybe you weren't sold on it?
Yeah. So me being, last year I was 21. So all of my assistant coaches, no offense to them, I'm sure they're going to watch later, but they're all 40s. They're all twice my age. I love them. They've become really good friends to me. But I don't. They weren't familiar with the spread offense. A lot of them grew up with wishbone and I formation as well, and just pound the rock. My running back coach, he played semi-pro, and that's all he wants. Like, he likes running the ball. So, but I mean, we still do some run plays. We just do them at a spread, and it works. It worked for us this year.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And that's another huge point. Like, just because we're running the spread doesn't mean we're not going to run the ball and run it with intensity, right? Like, that's all we're doing is taking away, just like in any other playbook, right? You have so many plays. We used to have so many running plays, but we really only called 3 anyway, right? So just peel all that other stuff away and practice the heck out of the plays that you decide. Okay, cool. I want to get into specifics about your plays, if you don't mind, and running could be part of it. But what are your core plays, running and passing? Do you have like a core group of quick game, drop back game, run plays that you use?
So we ran, like, all of our plays were out of shotgun. We didn't have any under center plays, honestly. We installed we sort of installed like a wishbone type formation for the last game of the season, just because we wanted to try something different, try to practice it for next year, see if it worked. But I mean, our main plays were, the spot combination, mesh, shallow, and we ran some wide receiver screens and halfback screens as well. So a lot of quick stuff, and a lot of stuff, I was able to learn last year, all within a year.
Awesome. Yeah. So just so everyone, and I wouldn't have known this, I think you just told me before we started, when you say spot, you're talking about snag or corner.
Yes, the snag corner concept.
Okay, cool. There's so many different ways that people talk about that play, and it was honestly, between that and 4 verts, it's my favorite play as well. Especially in middle school, we see single high safety 99% of the time. Yep. And so that corner is just, unless the cornerback to that play side is bailing out to get back to that deep third, that corner shot is just there. And that snag coming underneath is deadly as well. Is that what would be your favorite play, you think?
Definitely the snag corner concept. And the way we have it is at a doubles, and we have the backside bubble as well. And even that backside bubble is open a majority of the time too. I actually have it drawn up. I can show it to you in a little bit. It's one of the So I definitely want to see it. So you're talking like 2x2 snag corner to the one side, and what you swing the back to that side as well? Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then the backside, you're running a bubble concept. And so the quarterback gets to choose, or was it a pre-snap read, or how does that?
So I tell my quarterback to basically read the outside linebacker on the corner side. It basically, he's going to judge how far or how far away the safety is, and he's going to look at the corners with his peripheral vision. He doesn't want to obviously be looking and targeting him, but we have different rules for different coverages we're going against. But yeah, the quarterback is trying to sort of read the outside linebacker and see if he's dropping back on the snag route or coming up forward. So, yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. So, I mean, let's get into it then. But really, you've named 6 core plays and that's great. I mean, I've been preaching through these webinars, the smaller the playbook, the better. And, so our team only has 11 plays total, 3 quick game. We added an extra drop back game. So we had 2 last year, but I feel like I can get a 3rd one in this year. So we have 3 drop back, 3 quick game, 3 screens, but just like you said, quick screen, running back screen, those are the ones we did most. I'm going to add a tunnel screen to the boundary this year because Salas, he's had this really great video on that, but I'm only going to run it to the boundary with the lineman actually getting out there and affecting the play, and then 3 runs. So literally we had 11 plays. Go for it.
All right. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yep.
All right.
Perfect.
I'm gonna hit present. All right, cool. So, once again, I'm a middle school head coach. We're not really able to afford all the, all the online playbooks and everything. So I do everything old fashioned. I draw it out myself. I go to the copy machine. I hand it over to my kids. But, it works. So we're going to continue with it.
Yeah, why not?
So number 1 and 2 on the playbook for me, and I have the risk coaches for every team or every player on the offense. All they got to do is go out on the field. I call out a number, and they're able to look down at their risk coach, and they see it. So this is how I have right spot and L spot. This can be right snag, left snag, however you guys want to call it. It's all the same. So I didn't draw out a defense just because that's too much for a copy machine.
Yeah, don't sweat it. What defense do you guys see mostly? I'm curious.
Mostly here, it's mostly a bare front. So we have a single high safety, and it's a very
5-3, something like that.
Yeah, no other school in our county runs spread offense. So I think we kind of shocked everyone when we came out every game in this formation. So it was fun, but I know they're going to be ready for us next year. So next year's going to be the real challenge.
Yeah, that's fine. Then you can run the ball when they leave the box. That's great. Doesn't matter. There's an answer for everything, but that was our experience too. People, like, even the second time we played them in the season, they just didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to adjust. So it's a lot of fun with 5-man front. Cool. So take me through. They come up to the line. You guys huddle?
Sometimes, if it's a dead ball and if it's a incomplete throw or out of bounds or everything, then we huddle. But for the most part, we're on the ball. Check with me.
Okay. So they're 90% of the time you run a play, get the yards, then they jog up to the line of scrimmage, and then as a team they look over at you.
Yeah, basically.
And then you what? Hand signal?
I just call it the numbers. I know it's not.
Oh, that's right. You said you had a wristband. That's right. Oh, that's good.
I use the wrist coaches. We do I forgot the word for it, but I tell my receiver right next to me, and they echo it down the field. So I'm not screaming down the field or anything. It's just I call it number 1. Receiver calls it out to the other side, and it just makes it way down there. It's like a telephone call.
Perfect. Okay, cool. And so you call in the play. They all look at their wristbands. They get set. And so as a quarterback, are they looking pre-snap at anything in particular, or quarterback or receiver? Are they looking at pre-snap or anything, or are they turning and they're going to go run the play?
We don't really have any rules for our receivers. For our receivers, it's just, go run your route and expect the ball to come to you. For our quarterback, we teach him to look straight ahead at the free safety and outside linebackers with his peripheral vision. And a lot of the middle school coverages that we go against, it's mostly man coverage. And
oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, down here it's mostly just man coverage because they're all in the bare front anyways. And one of our slot receivers is usually always covered by a linebacker, which is just a mismatch at all times for us, at least.
Right. Love it. Okay, cool. So he snaps the ball, and what's he looking at? What's the first thing he's looking at when he snaps the ball?
First thing I have him looking at is the snag route, either side. Whatever receiver that he likes to match up on, I tell him to look out for that snag route. 9 times out of 10 at this age level, it's open. He's always scared to throw it because there's a line in front of him, and he doesn't trust it. But we've hit that a handful of times this year, and it was really successful for us. If you look at the R spot, the F running that bubble right off the line, and we have one rule for him is if he is wide open and he can get a first down easily and he's just completely uncovered, we tell him to just scream as loud as he can, ball. And our quarterback, if he hears that ball call, he turns and throws to the bubble. If it's incomplete or an interception or anything completely wrong that shouldn't have happened, it is the wide receiver's fault. It's not the quarterback's fault, because quarterback hears the ball call, he turns and throws. We
Love
tell
it.
that.
Love it.
Yeah, we tell them that just because, if you can get an easy first down and, no one's on you, call for the ball, get it and run.
Perfect. I love that. I love that. I mean, that's the one message I just keep telling coaches, and we do it a little different when we're trying to take easy money or take the easy yards, the free gift yards. We do it different, but it's essentially the same message. Like, you middle school and the youth coaches, if someone's going to give you 5 yards with a chance to do more, and a lot of times at this level, as you guys probably know, the best players, you don't usually put your best athletes at corner. In our league in middle school, it's like DNs, linebackers. That's where you put your beasts, right? That's where you put your dogs. So you got one of your best receivers, and for us, F, we use the same terminology like Mackey. F is that's our stud. He's our featured player. So you get him out on the outside in space, one-on-one, like that's the whole point of the offense, right? Like you've already accomplished what you want to accomplish. So that's even before running the snag. So that's great. I love that. We do double stick backside, and then if the defenders are uncovered or they're 7 yards off or more, then the quarterback, even though we call it wide corner, the same exact play to the right, if someone's open pre-snap 7 yards or more off, then we're just gonna throw the easy and just take that one-on-one matchup and get our 5 yards or more. So same exact type of thing. So I love that. Very cool. And so what else? So it goes, ball call is always overrides, but the first read is Z, or the first read is the snags. Snags on either side, you said? He picks which snag he wants to throw to, which side?
Yeah, so it goes, he's reading the corners. He's looking at the corners and everything. He's reading the whole defense. If he sees like a mismatch that he thinks that the snag's just going to be open just because the corner maybe can't keep up with the receiver, or he's just not going to be as talented, or however it may be, he knows just to hit the snag. But our check down play, our check down, our quarterback knows, if everything's covered, to throw a sideline throw to that corner to where it's either going to be complete or it's going to be out of bounds. That's kind of our check down right there.
I love the check down is the deep shot. I love it. I mean, honestly, we scored 13 or 14 touchdowns on this, and probably 10 of them were that corner shot. So we read it a little different, but I love this. I love this play.
Throw up one other play, and it's at believe it or not, it's actually at a quads.
Cool. Let's do it.
I wanted to give up a quads play because I know there's not that many that you can do, but
yeah,
this is my favorite quads play. Obviously you want to put your 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, never the short side, because that would make everything a little congested over there. But our main throw is the X on the arrow, the quick out route right there. The F is running that slant. It's more of a pick. He's more like setting a pick on the linebacker who's going to be covering him, because there's no way there's going to be a corner covering the X receiver, who's the 4th receiver inside.
Yeah. So
we're looking for that mismatch. We're trying to get one of our best guys in open field, and it's not necessarily a deep shot. It's more of it's a quick play, and easy 3, 4, 5 yards, maybe more, and we get him up the sideline, and he's fast, so we get him up there.
Yeah, for sure. I can see how that could spring it. So the first look is to X. That's best case scenario. That's where the ball is going.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What happens if somebody flies out to the flats? Where's his eyes go next?
Well, if someone's flying up out of the flats, then he's just going to keep going up. That F is more than likely never going to be open unless he gets across to the other side, just because there's going to be so much stuff in the way. There's going to be the line, the linebackers and everything. So I mean that slant is literally there for me just to set the pick for my arrow route. So after that, our quarterback is looking up at the 10-yard dig. He's looking at that the in route right there, and then if that's covered up, then he's looking deep at the post. Then at that point, it should be either one-on-one with a corner or a safety with that receiver over top. About 50, 55 yards. It was just the arrow route right there, the flat, and he was open because our F receiver set that pick. He caught it, went up the sideline, and we had. I mean, that was our fastest kid on the team right there. So you're not catching him.
Love it. Awesome. And so you were telling me a little bit before we started recording about some of the success you guys had this last year. So you want to kind of rehash that for everyone? You guys, your record jumped pretty good when you guys went all in.
Yeah, so we were the last 8 years prior to this season. Actually, we only won one football game. The last 8 years, the school has only won one game, and that was something I took into this season. One of those years was under my belt as head coach, and 2 of those years were, I was an assistant, and I didn't get to say much on what we did on offense or defense, but I still felt somewhat responsible, like I could have done something. So, we went. I think it was 1-56. Last 8 years, and I put it up on the whiteboard in the locker room. I let them know. I'm just like, I'm not having it anymore.
Brutal.
It was tough, and if you don't have a good football team at the middle school or even a high school, it's bad morale for the entire school. It's a bad it's bad culture. No one wants to have a losing area, losing city, season or anything. And it was a big culture shock for Cruz Lake because, we were no one expected us to win. No one expected us to do good. Even my front office staff, the ladies working the front desk and my assistant principals and everything, they didn't believe that we could even win a game this year. And I told my players that. I'm just like, no one here believes that you guys can do it. You guys got to show up and you got to earn it. And that's something that my assistant coach drilled into their heads. Like, you guys got to earn it. You're not going to get handed a win in this league. You guys are expected to lose, and we carry that on our chest and on our back, every single week.
Love it. You guys ended up winning 6 games, you said?
Yeah, we set the school record for 6 wins, 2 losses. Third place in the district. I'm not going to blame any referees for any of the losses, but we all know how that goes sometimes.
Yeah, from California to Florida, that I don't think you're going to find many coaches are going to argue with you on that one.
We set the school record points in a game 3 separate times throughout the season with 40. We tied it with 40 again. And then we put up 42 in the last game, and that was actually against one of my old coach's teams. So that was fun.
Nice, that's awesome,
and,
man. See,
we actually
how much fun is it to throw up 40 points?
Yeah, we beat. I came from River Ridge Middle School and high school, and we actually beat River Ridge Middle. And none of my old coaches were still coaching for the River Ridge Middle team, but it was a nice win for me. That's the one I wanted.
Heck yeah, that's awesome, man. Very cool. Well, you're well on your way. I mean, you're young in your career and in general, your life, but that's great, man, that you're already tied in like this and competing with football at young coaching age. So I think you're well on your way of making, hopefully coaching at the higher levels, at the college level, even at some point soon, hopefully. So congrats on that. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about practice, because that continues to be my main theme to coaches is like, it's one thing to maybe dabble and throw a pass play in once in a while. That's air raid concept, but practice for us has to be super intentional. I'm curious if you guys do like air raid drills.
We rep our plays a lot. So if we call those air raid drills, we run, we get our skill skill players all together. We run our routes, we run our combinations, do a little bit 7-on-7 with each other. And then we just throw it all in together with team at the end. That's one thing I'll say it. I'm not the best at as a coach, like practice management and scheduling and everything. If there's any different ways I can practice skill, my plays and everything, I'd be all for it. But I'm just doing all the things that I know that I can do and I'm comfortable with doing. And, it worked for us. So
yeah, that's great.
Hopefully
I think you said the key word. Yeah, you clearly are. And I think the key phrase that you mentioned is just reps, right? Like the way that I've stolen the practice plans from other air raid coaches like Mackie and Joe Salas, literally stolen their practice plans because I didn't know much about it. And I'm 40, you're 22. So, it's just more about being around different coaches and seeing how they do it. And then at some point customizing it for yourself. But I mean, the whole point of an air raid practice is set it up in a way where you're getting as many reps as possible. So regardless, you've done that. And if you can rep it out and make your practices intentional like that, and these kids are just getting throw after throw and catch after catch, then you're going to out execute people on game day. And sounds like you did that last year for the most part, and you're moving toward the right direction. So yeah, there's a million ways to run practice, but I think the key thing is to make sure you set your practice up. And I'm more talking to coaches out there than you. It sounds like you've already done it, but just make sure you set it up to where every practice they're just getting as many reps as from your core plays and core routes as possible. And then, it'll show up on the field. So that's awesome. Very cool. All right. So what is your best advice for a coach who kind of was in your seat a couple years ago when you're like, I really want to figure out something besides the traditional ground and pound? What's your best advice for a coach wanting to learn, like trying to get into the spread offense?
Wow. Best advice. I mean, plain and simple, I would say just give it a shot. Just try it out. It's a lot of teams, football's been around for over 100 years. A lot of teams and, at this age group are just running the ball. And every defensive coordinator in this age group is ready for it because that's what every single school does. That's what everyone does. If you really want to throw someone off, just give it a shot. Try to switch it up.
Run this type of offense. It will bring kids back to the game. And in the end, we just want kids to choose football again. That's my biggest message. Let's just get kids to choose football again. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel, to my channel here below. So we're going to continue on with this coaches series. I'm just going to bring as many successful spread and air raid coaches to talk to you guys. So, not only is it possible, but it's actually what you should be doing for the for the health of the game, for the love of the kids, and honestly, for wins and losses too. There's really no reason now that there's all these resources out there to not do it. So, all right, thanks again, Coach, for coming on, and we will see everyone out there for the next edition. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Coach.